Best Harry Potter house, Ravenclaw.
Definitely not. Obviously Gryffindor. There's 7 movies about them. And even in the books, like, Gryffindor's the best, and they win all the time.
It's just about Gryffindor because that's where the main character's house is.
Because he's the bravest and the best.
But the smartest, Hermione, should have been Ravenclaw, therefore
That is true.
Ravenclaw. They wouldn't have survived. They would not have survived without.
But it just proves that Hermione's courage is stronger than her wisdom.
Or that's what she needed to grow the most in.
And then Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff are basically non-existent in the movies, period.
But that doesn't mean they're not important. They're just in the background, kicking butt.
I mean, the book readers care.
Which is the most important fan?
I guess so. And I mean, we're not even talking about Slytherin, because if I had to pick a second, Slytherin would be number 2.
Slytherin's out. Slytherin's the worst.
It's just because, and you're saying
Hufflepuff
that just
is the
because
second
the
best.
movies mean that Gryffindor's not the best, Slytherin's not the worst just because the movies portrayed him to be.
No, Slytherin's the worst because they're just the worst in general.
I disagree. What are your reasons for that?
Well, they're turning out most dark wizards. There's no other dark wizards.
Racism. No, that is not true. There's dark wizards from every house.
But the most come from Slytherin.
But
Hufflepuff is clearly the second best.
In what ways? What has Hufflepuff ever done?
Cedric Diggory.
Who's dead?
But he was amazing.
In what ways? Even in the book, he was kind of a douchebag the whole time. The only thing that he did pleasant in the whole thing was tell Harry to open the egg underwater.
So
that is the only good thing Hufflepuff ever did for the entire movie series.
Hufflepuff provides loyalty. That's a great, great feature in people.
You're right. I can agree with that one.
There you go.
But in conclusion, I think that Gryffindor's the best, and you won't change my mind. But I'm also a Gryffindor house, so it's who I am. I think when it comes to DC and Marvel, the opinion differentiates depending on what genre you're talking about. Because in my opinion, the DC comics are better, but obviously the Marvel movies are better.
Well, I mean, you could look at it as, I prefer Marvel because you get the characters, you get their background, their story, they're relatable. Where DC, it's, with the exception of Batman, with DC, it's, here's, someone kicking butt. Where with Marvel, it's like a relatable person, like Captain America, guy trying to save the world.
That's what I mean though, is that like the DC movies are trash because they don't represent how good the comics were. Because the comics did do way more character development and more background stories and things that like you actually cared about to connect with the characters, but now they're just like pooping out movies and they're not that great.
The Flash DC comic doesn't really go into much background story, does a little bit of background here and there, like my mom died, but not really big on the background. It's more of his adventures currently.
Yeah, but even Marvel does that too. They're like, this is our one background story, and then it just tells where they're going story, and then it just tells.
But Marvel continues the background throughout the stories. Like, you don't just get that one little bit of this what happened that one time where you have to read and go back to that same comic.
I feel like I'm not a fan of flashbacks. If every movie has to have 15 flashbacks, then I'm like, why didn't we just see this story first? Which is what I think DC does. But I will say that like even like Aquaman that's gonna come out, it's gonna be bad.
because it's a DC movie.
But I can't deny that the Marvel movies are good. I just prefer the DC comics. But I think that most of the Marvel characters are just really pretentious. And I do not think that pineapple belongs on pizza.
Why is that?
Because fruit doesn't belong on pizza. Pizza's not meant to be a sweet treat. It's not a cake, it's a pizza.
I have some personal experience. I have worked at a local pizza place. We made our dough fresh, and pineapple is one of my favorite toppings. I think you can get good combinations with the sweet flavor and add in something that has a little kick to it, something like jalapenos. So that's one of my favorite combinations.
Wait, you put pineapple and jalapenos on the same pizza?
Correct.
I can see jalapenos. Pineapple? No. That's crossing the line.
It's just the perfect combination because the jalapenos have that spice to it, and then the pineapple is that sweet flavor, and just the combination. You can't get that on anything else besides pizza.
I think that's because it's not meant to be on anything. But I mean, I guess to each their own, but I guess I'm a little bit biased because I'm not a fan of actual pineapple in general. I can taste like the tendons. I don't like the texture of it. But I like pineapple flavored things, and I have given a genuine effort to liking pineapple on pizza, and it is gross. And I also don't like how the ham that they put on pizza with pineapple either. So I'm like, maybe I should try it a different way. I thought it was so gross.
Well, it seems like I'm not changing your mind, but it was a good debate.
Okay, which actor plays the best Batman? I guess my opinion's a little, once again, biased because I don't like what they've done with Batman. The best actor for Batman was Adam West.
Adam West was a very good actor for Batman, but Christian Bale raised the bar on the action was much more realistic, much more in tune with today's society. It's like a Red Bull commercial or something. It's not like a comic strip. I mean, in the old days when he's swinging Robin around and the cape is flying and they're swinging on the chandeliers.
Yeah, that's the stuff I'm going for.
Right. It was just so staged.
Well, I liked the campiness of it and like that, and it felt like you were watching the comic instead of what Christian Bale did to Batman, where he's like, everything needs to be so dramatic. And it's just, everything's so sad. And I just say, and Ben Affleck's just awful.
Well, the opposite side of that is you don't hear all the, what do you call that? Oh, let me get my bat boomerang out of my utility belt, and he pulls out something this big out of a space this big.
You're just describing everything I love about Adam West Batman. He was hilarious and fun, and it was fun Batman, but now we have serious, sad Batman.
Now we have action. Before we had, like you said, the Muppets on Parade. You know, it was like, what is this? It's hard to watch Batman without laughing, the Adam West version. Hold on, Robin, let me get the Bat supercomputer and find out exactly what happened.
But you don't miss it? You don't miss the fun campiness that it
I actually grew up watching that. The first time I ever seen a color television was watching that. It was very exciting. And so yes, and then the worst thing I could ever remember about watching Batman as a kid, when it was the real Batman, was when you're right in the middle of it, and the action was starting to get good, and somebody turned on the vacuum cleaner, and all of a sudden the TV would go to static. And it just destroyed your whole life. It's like, ah! But no, I enjoyed it as a kid, but now that I've grown up, I want more action, more realism.
I guess that's where it goes, because I am still a kid at heart, and I want my kid Batman.